Hi, I'm John with AppliancePartsPros.com. Today we're going to be showing you how to repair your appliance. Remember that anytime you work on an appliance, make sure that it is unplugged or the circuit breaker is turned off so there is no chance of electrocution. Today we're going to show you how to install a new snubber ring for a Maytag washer. It's a job that will require a short flat blade screwdriver, a normal flat blade screwdriver, a Phillips head screwdriver, a 1/4 inch nut driver, a 5/16 inch nut driver, a 3/8 inch nut driver, a putty knife, a pair of locking pliers, a pair of slip joint pliers, a ratchet, extension, and 3/8 inch socket. When you open the package, you'll get one new snubber ring. The reason why you'd be replacing the snubber ring is if the washer shakes a lot during use or there's a loud noise during operation. To install the new snubber ring, you'll first need to remove the drive belt. The drive belt is located under the washing machine, so to get access to the belt, we're going to need to tilt the machine back, have a friend hold the machine, or rest it on something secure. The drive belt goes around the pump pulley, motor pulley, and transmission pulley. Remove the drive belt by pulling out on the edge of the belt as you rotate the transmission pulley counterclockwise. Then, remove the old drive belt. Afterwards, tilt down the machine. You'll need to remove the access panel located on the back side of the washing machine. Using a 5/16 inch nut driver, remove the 3 screws that hold the panel in place. Then, remove the panel. With the panel removed, you'll now have access to the tub-to-pump hose. Locate and remove the upper hose clamp. Then, pull the hose off the washer tub outlet. Afterwards, use a putty knife to press in and release the 2 tabs that will allow the whole top to be tilted up. Lift up the top and carefully place it against something sturdy. Locate the 2 screws that retain the front panel of the washer. Then, use a 5/16 inch nut driver to remove the screws. Tilt the panel forward, lift up slightly, and then you can remove the panel from the machine. To remove the drum assembly, you'll need to remove the motor that is located in the lower right portion of the washer. Use a short flat blade screwdriver to remove the 2 screws that retain the plastic motor cover. Then, remove the cover. Using a 1/4 inch nut driver, remove the 2 screws that retain the ground wires. Press in the 2 tabs on the side of the wiring harness clip. Then, remove the motor wiring harness. Use a ratchet with an extension and 3/8 inch socket to loosen and remove the 2 bolts that retain the motor to the washer chassis. Afterwards, you can remove the motor assembly from the washer. Use a pair of locking pliers to remove the 6 drum suspension springs. With the suspension springs removed, you can easily tilt the tub assembly sideways to access the pressure hose for the water level switch. Remove the clamp and then pull the hose off the drum assembly. Afterwards, lift up on the drum assembly to separate it from the washer cabinet. Then, tilt the drum assembly sideways and pull it out the front opening of the washer cabinet. Once you've removed the drum assembly from the washer, you're going to need to turn it upside down so you can access the bottom side. There are 6 bolts that hold the snubber ring in position. Use a 5/16 inch nut driver to remove 3 of the screws that are located opposite of each other. The brake assembly makes use of a spring with about 200 pounds of force that you don't want to release. So replace the short bolts with longer 1024 thread bolts, which will allow you to remove the snubber ring while continuing to hold tension on the spring. Afterwards, use a 5/16 inch nut driver to remove the 3 remaining bolts. Loosen the bolts incrementally to slowly release pressure on the spring assembly. pull up on the bracket, then use a flat blade screwdriver to pull out the old snubber ring. Here's the old snubber ring next to the new one. If you already have the new part, great. If not, you can get it from AppliancePartsPros.com. Put the new snubber ring into position, then lift up on the bracket assembly to allow the ring to go into place. Afterwards, thread in the 3 bolts. And then tighten them using a 5/16" nut driver. Remove the 3 longer bolts used to hold tension on the spring assembly. Then thread in and tighten the 3 original bolts. Clean the surface where the snubber ring comes into contact with the washer cabinet. Turn the drum assembly upright, then reinstall it into the washer cabinet. Carefully position the pulley within the large hole in the cabinet, then lower the tub assembly into place. Tilt the washer drum, then reconnect the pressure hose for the water level switch. Reinstall the 6 suspension springs that control the movement of the washer tub during use. Reinstall the hose on the washer tub outlet and then reinstall the retaining clamp. Reinstall the back panel. Then thread in and tighten the 3 retaining screws. Position the motor in the washer, and then reconnect the motor wiring harness. Afterwards, set the motor into the washer cabinet. Then thread in and tighten the 2 retaining bolts. Use a 1/4" nut driver to thread in and tighten the screws that retain the 2 ground wires. Reinstall the motor cover. Then thread in and tighten the 2 screws. With the motor in place, you can now reinstall the front panel. Put the panel back in place, making sure that on the bottom the 2 tabs align, and then tilt it forward. Thread in and tighten the 2 screws that retain the front panel. Carefully lower down the top and then push on the front edge so it engages the 2 retaining clips. Tilt back the washer. Position the belt on the motor pulley and then on the pump pulley. Put the belt on the edge of the transmission pulley, then rotate the pulley clockwise, which will pull the drive belt into position. Once the drive belt is on, carefully lower down the washing machine. Afterwards, reconnect the power cord, and then your appliance should be ready for use. Thanks for joining us for another successful repair brought to you by AppliancePartsPros.com. And be sure to check out our other repair videos on our website, on our Facebook page, and on our YouTube channel.